So Manchester United want to sign back Anthony Elanga. Really? Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to some more transfer news. Coming up, we're going to be talking about this story about Elanga going back to Manchester United and some other clubs that are interested in him, as well as talking about a Premier League striker that Forest have their eyes set on from Fulham. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. If you want to grab me a coffee, you can scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. And let's jump into this story. And off the bat, I'll tell you, I don't give it much credit, but hey, it's doing the rounds. It's worth discussing, and maybe there is some truth in it. Are Manchester United thinking that every player that leaves their club seems to play better for the other clubs than they do for their own? Maybe they're trying this whole, well, if they've got better elsewhere, if we bring them back, maybe they don't fall into the whole cesspit that is Manchester United currently. But here's the report for you. Let's just read you through it. Elanga to be resigned. Anthony Elanga, who scored a wonder goal for Forest against his former club a couple of weeks ago, is being monitored. The Swede has 6 goals in the Premier League and 9 assists for Forest. And apart from United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham are monitoring his situation. Champions League qualification could prove key if Forest are to hold on to their man. The reports suggest a bid for 50 million could force Forest to sell, but the club, Nottingham Forest, are planning to extend his contract by another 2 years. According to these sources, United and other clubs are keeping a close eye on the winger. Major Premier Leagues, as I mentioned, they're monitoring him. Now, what they're saying is also that the fact that if 50 million came in, they're trying to make this sound like Forest would have to sell. Again, I reiterate, as far as we know and as far as we understand, there are no problems when it comes to PSR and Forest this season. And Forest will not be under pressure to sell. And when I mean sell, I'm talking about selling for a cut price. These rumours were circulating around this time last year when Forest had breached PSR, and that the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White or a Murillo were going to have to be sold before the 30th of June to balance the books. And then Forest got smart about it, did the PSR party with Mangala. We saw him going, Vlachodimos going to Newcastle, etc. Forest are not in that same space this season. In fact, Forest will be in a better position based on where they finish in the league, because there's going to be an extra 40 to 50 million potentially that they probably didn't account for. So I think straight away these stories are BS. Now, do I think that there are clubs interested in him? Yes. I think Newcastle are still keeping an eye on Elanga. I don't think they're going to come in for him, but we know factually that they tried to make a late bid for him in the summer transfer window. And on the last day tried to put, some say 40, some say 50 million pounds, which Forest rejected. And that's the big indicator for me, that if Forest rejected it back then, when we weren't sitting third or now fourth in the Premier League, and we're expecting maybe a mid-table finish or something like that, why would we feel the need to have to sell him now? Now, am I saying Anthony Elanga is the greatest right winger I have ever seen in my life? No, far from it. But he has had a really good season so far for Forest. And he also, more importantly than that, the reasons we didn't sell him, at the time I would have sold him. There's many receipts on that. But Forest's reason for not selling him was because of the dynamics at the club and how that balance was there. We've all seen him, Ola Aina, Callum Hudson-Odoi, all very chummy, and they seem to be the soul and life of the party when it comes to the off-field activities at Forest. And breaking that chemistry, you look back at it and you think Marinakis was right to keep him. And we've seen very important goals, assists from him this season. But come the summer, if Forest do get Champions League, we are going to have to strengthen in those positions. We've been linked with Yilmaz, as we've reported to you guys a few times over the last couple of months. So Forest will be looking to strengthen out wide, probably on both sides. But I think even if, let's just say these reports are true, that Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, United are all interested in him, it doesn't mean he's going to go, nor why would he want to go back to United. I know he's probably a United fan. He's come through their academy, etc. But right now at Forest, he's becoming quite a pivotal piece of the puzzle. And I don't think Forest will be looking to sell him unless the money is big or he wants to leave. The bottom line is, I don't feel there's any pressure to Forest to sell unless we choose to. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's talk about a potential incoming to Forest, and that's Rodrigo Muniz, the striker currently at Fulham. And he's coming into the last year of his contract. It's up in 2026. And there are reports out to say that Forest are monitoring and keeping an eye, this new monitoring word, man, I swear to God, on the Premier League striker for Fulham. Not getting as much game time as he would want, obviously, with Raul Jimenez there, but is scoring a few goals. In fact, let's have a quick look at his stats for you. This season, he's got 11 goals in 36 games. Overall, at Fulham, he's played 82 games and scored 22 goals. He was on loan at Middlesbrough for the season of 22-23, played 17 games and scored 2 goals. He, for me, is a very, very streaky striker. Sometimes you watch him at Fulham and you think, bloody hell, this guy's got something about him. And other times, nothing really happens with him on the pitch. So I'm not that excited by this one. I mean, I know Fulham's old owner used to own Harrods and what have you, but Forest should be shopping in the actual Harrods now, not a Craven Cottage for me. But here's the report. It says Fulham are ready to hand a 50 million new contract to the 50 million rated player Muniz to fend off the likes of West Ham and Forest. That in itself for me tells me if we are battling or looking in the same shop as the likes of West Ham, then no, I'm sorry, it's not for me. It says the West London club believe they have a real gem on their hands in Muniz, and there is a sense he could become Brazil's number 9 in the 26 World Cup. That's big claims, big claims. Silva's keen for him to commit his future to Fulham, and they have been delighted with the progress they've seen from him across the season. Now, as I said, his contract's up in a year. Fulham are going to try and extend his contract further to increase the chances of him staying, or at the very least make his valuation a bit higher. So it says a bumper new deal is there to kind of fend off the sniffing clubs around him, the likes of West Ham and Forest. His goal scoring record has been great. I'd question it a little. He's in line for a big new deal at Fulham. They're very happy and want him to commit. So this is the story on him. Now, I'm not saying he's rubbish, right? I'm not saying he's good either. What I'm saying is it just doesn't excite me. Let's assume we do get Champions League football. Do I want to see Muniz as the guy who's coming in to fight for Chris Wood for the number 9 shirt, or potentially replace Chris Wood as the number 9? I don't know. Obviously, there's the Brazilian vibes and what have you, so that's a plus point for him. I just think we can do so much better. I really do. Look, he's at a good age. He's already got Prem experience, so there are positives in the column you could put against him, but it doesn't excite me. I don't feel the report is that good. It just feels like, to me, what they're doing here is putting the fear into Fulham. This might be an agent of his or something like that to say, right, Fulham, West Ham and Forest are sniffing around. He's got a year left on his contract. Pay up or shut up, because we can move him on potentially quite cheaply this transfer window. And we've seen this tactic happen loads of times before across kind of the Premier League, across European football as well. So that's what I feel it is. So again, I'm saying this is BS to me, this story. I think Forest could do a lot better. But if he were to come, he would work as an understudy to Chris Wood. But the problem is he's already been doing that to Jimenez at Fulham. And I don't think it would make sense for him to come to Forest. Therefore, probably more sense would be at West Ham, where he could get into their first team and potentially get himself a bit of a run of games and maybe bag himself some goals. But would you take him or not? And if that price tag is right at 50 million, then that straight away says to me, no thank you, move on. We can get bloody Gyökeres for that. So get your thoughts in on him. And that brings you up to date with your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up, we will be starting our build up towards the big game this Sunday, as Forest will travel down to Wembley to take on Manchester City. We've got loads of content coming your way for that one, so make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you check out Grumpy Old Reds from yesterday if you haven't seen it already. I'll leave it on the end screen for you. And if you haven't hit that like button, please don't forget to do so. Really helps with the video. Subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you as we start the build up towards City. Come on, you Reds.